Good afternoon and welcome everyone. My name is Joel Aalberts. I'm the Executive Director here at the Lensic Performing Arts Center, and it's a delight to have you here at our Backstage Pass program for today with our very special guests, the Ahn Trio. We're going to bring them out in a little bit, but before I welcome them, I wanted to thank you again for your support of the Lensic through this pandemic and seeing us through to the other side. We have worked very hard to remain engaged with our audience throughout. And I hope that you've been able to enjoy some of the virtual programs that we've been able to offer for this last year. And obviously, turquoise is looking like a very sweet color here in Santa Fe County as our county has moved into this new color code in the public health order. And yes, this does mean that the Lensic is poised to reopen. So right now, our staff is working on getting the building totally ready to go, looking at the staff and support that we'll need to bring programs back to the Lensic stage, and also trying to find some programming and some other things to get us going. I will tell you that obviously the opportunity to get reopened is very exciting for everyone. It's been wonderful to be able to engage with our audience virtually, and there have been some great things that have come from this. But the thing that really is missing the most from public performances is the sense of community that comes here. And there is obviously nothing like being in a room with your friends and your neighbors and sharing in an experience, and also being part of that conversation with the artists as they come to the stage and being able to create something that is bigger than the sum of its parts when we see a terrific performance and the energy of the audience and the energy of the space can come together. So the Lensic is here, it is waiting. It's nice to be here with you today, and we look forward to seeing you at the Lensic again soon. We do have a lot of exciting things that are coming up, some public performances that will happen, as well as some additional Backstage Pass programs. As you know, that schedule includes Kodo, and we will be doing a discussion with their artistic staff on April 9, as well as a public performance that you can buy tickets to right now at lensic.org that will run from the 8th through the 11th. The American Ballet Theater Studio Company will be with us a little bit later in April, including a discussion with some of their artistic staff and a choreographer who's been working with the company in quarantine, Lauren Levette, who is a principal dancer with the New York City Ballet. She will be joining in on that conversation on April 22. And then the terrific Piano Battle will be doing a mini battle for us on May 2. And I hope that you'll keep your eyes open for those opportunities. And again, thank you for your support. And if you have not yet supported the arts, this is a great time to do that. If you go to lensic.org and make a contribution to help us as we get things up and running again, there's a lot of work that goes with this. Of course, there are expenses that go with bringing shows in. And as we look at some of these partial capacity crowds that we have, the most important thing really for us is that we start seeing audiences here. And then when we get to the, hopefully a little bit later on in 2021, we'll be able to start bringing back full audiences and the kinds of programs that you're used to seeing here at the theater. So the Ahn Trio last performed at the Lensic back in November of 2019. We had no idea then, just a few months after their last performance, that things would change so dramatically. But the performance that they did here the last time with the 9-Chen Dance Company, for those in attendance, is something that is still being talked about a lot in the community. It was a very profound and touching performance with music and dance combined so beautifully. It's one of the more memorable performances that we've had over the last few years. These three wonderful Juilliard-trained musicians have performed at the White House for President Obama, in venues around the world, and I know that they have made their very special mother very proud with the work that they've done over that time. So before I bring them on, though, I'd like to introduce you to a little bit of their music. And we're going to start, we have a few videos that we'll share with you over the evening, but we'd like to start this afternoon with the Ahn's adaptation of Prince's song, Purple Rain. So stay tuned, and we're going to turn that video on for you right now. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much for that. So I would love to bring to the screen here. I'd like to introduce Lucia Ahn, who is the pianist, Maria Ahn on cello, and Angela Ahn, the violinist. And welcome to the Ahn Trio.
Hello. Hi.
And here comes Maria's going to come. I can feel it.
This is very common to actually our touring. We're usually waiting for Maria.
Yep.
So, well,
Even when we're about to walk out to stage, we're always waiting for Maria. So this is normal.
We're also waiting for her at the airport. We're waiting for her at the hotel.
Okay, but before we talk more about Maria, oh, there she is.
She's here now.
I couldn't figure. I kept on clicking on the start video. I don't know what happened.
Well, actually, it turned out to be perfect because I think it said some amazing things. So, no, obviously, now I'm going to have to go off of my planned questions here. Your sisters, you have been traveling and performing together for quite a long time. And tell us a little bit about that. And I mentioned your mom, and I know that she's incredibly important to this whole story. Can you tell us a little bit about how this all got started and how this life of performing together began?
So I will start because I started to play the piano back in Korea. And, growing up with three sisters, if I got something special that was going on, then Angela and Maria also had to do something. So as soon as I start to take piano lessons, then they wanted to also get some kind of musical lessons. Okay, and then now Angela or Maria can take over from there.
But then the idea of us doing a trio really didn't start until much later, because we thought we would all study music, but then sort of just study separately and do our own things.
Well, and Ria, at first, we all wanted to do what Lou did, right? We all wanted to play the piano.
Right. We wanted to just, but we were just not as good on the piano as Lucia by then. And then also we wanted something of equal value, but not the same exact thing, especially me being Lucia's twin. So I chose the cello because I, knew that it was the best instrument at such a young age.
Well, luckily we did gravitate towards these instruments that made up a trio, but it's not like we come from a musical family where our parents knew, okay, if I put these three instruments to our three daughters, now then they can be a trio. They didn't exactly realize that until later, I think.
No, our music teachers told us, oh, why don't you already have a piano trio in the family, why don't you play some trios? And then we said, okay, we don't really want to, but I guess we will just sort of play once in a while.
But here's the thing. I think it's so much more fun to practice with each other than all by yourself. So we enjoyed it. It was fun. It was like we can do things together. And when we started to tour, we realized we feel more like a band. We can be just three of us, or sometimes we add, a singer or a drummer or a bass player, or sometimes we're collaborating with a rock band and
dance company.
Yes, and
we love the idea of being a band. So more than anything, and a classical band and collaborating with other artists. But really, that was brought up because we got a recording contract early on as a trio, and then sort of then a management came after that. And actually, if these things didn't just come, I don't know if we would have chosen to do it.
I know, right?
And always was that, if we get bored with each other, then we'll just go separate ways. And we were always ready to just let go, right?
Yeah, definitely. And what's also interesting to me is that when we were starting out as children, and this is actually back in Korea, it's not like we had any idea that we would all be going to Juilliard and then having this incredible career. I mean, none of us knew back then. And we still, I think, in some ways, pinch ourselves going, this is so cool that we get to do this. And we've seen the world as a trio. I mean, it's incredible.
That it really is. It really is. Yeah, that's it. So I wanted to ask you, I'm going to go back because we played the excerpt from Purple Rain, and that comes from your most recent album, Blue, which I know is a very personal record to all of you. And tell me a little bit about the making of this album, and you know, what do these songs particularly express to you that's different about the other recordings you've done?
That album was very personal. That's true, because Blue is name of my son, who is now 8 years old, 8.5. And we thought we want to make him a musical diary, like sort of our history as a touring group, what happened to us, who did we collaborate with. That Purple Rain is because we met Prince, which is so unlikely as a classical trio, but we did. And our collaborator Kenji Bunch, who also went to Juilliard, who's an amazing composer in Portland, Oregon, he made this beautiful arrangement for us to play, and so it's one of our favorites. And Blue is very spoiled to have this whole album where his aunts, you know, and his mom did the whole album for him, and I think he knows it. He knows that he's very lucky.
So it was most personal for Lucia, obviously, because it's her son, but it was a really, really personal experience for all of us and coming together with this project.
Well,
and then even
we're kind of looking back on our musical lives and making a musical diary of things that meant a lot to us or really special experiences. And so it wasn't even hard to make the choices of music, right? Do you remember?
Absolutely. It was so easy. I mean, I think we had too many pieces and then we had to actually kind of narrow it down. But once we made this beautiful album, you know, even just the touring part of it. So the video that you just watched was from the Maria Marini Museum in Florence. And, you know, you look at this museum and this guy who's one of the most important artists of the 21st century. And we get to be in in the middle of his
collaborated with those. I just want to also give a credit to the guy, you know, his name is Alessio Giorgetti, and he is a friend of ours, and him with his wife Yunsun Che, they made that little short film, which is very artsy-fartsy, and as you can see, and so that experience was so fun. You know, the whole project was great.
Yeah, it was a great way to kick off the tour. It really was.
Great. So we're going to actually, speaking of, let's move on to another video here as well. The next thing is, it's a little mini documentary that was created about you. And this will be a good opportunity for people to see how things kind of work a little bit more, be introduced to a little bit more of your music, and see you in action. And then we'll come back and visit a bit. So we're going to check out one more time and run this next video, and we'll be back in a moment.
We are a piano trio, chamber music group made up of 3 sisters, and we play modern classical music. Music that are mostly written for our trio by amazing living composers. Is my favorite because it's for my son Blue, and it's a collection of our absolute favorite memories all put into one box.
great jazz guitarist. Right? He wrote this incredible piece for us that we find so moving, and we're so excited to share it with you.
When we do a collaboration with a modern ballet company and they're dancing and we're doing live music, it makes the audience so much more emotionally involved and they're doubly excited. Amazing, intense 5 days.
Yes.
But we still want to make it very much chamber music.
What else we need to tell them? Nothing, right? Just
That they should come to our concerts and buy lots of CDs.
And true to that, buy lots of CDs and come to lots of concerts. Finer words have never been said.
Nobody has a CD player anymore.
Yeah, I think now
No.
it's all just electronic releases, you know? It's not my son's age, they're like,
That really dates us.
I don't know.
I'm going to tell you, all of my I have CDs, I have all of them as discs. Every one of yours as discs.
I'm still attached to them. I like to look at my
Physical media.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If everything melts down, I've still got my disc.
yeah, we're old.
And I can read the liner notes.
Yeah. And I like
I
the
also
cover.
love having real books, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Makes
me
a-
too, actually. I don't like the ebooks as much. I want to hold it.
Yeah.
It's all
Sometimes
good. So,
Spill coffee on it and, you know, it's nice.
right. And
Fill
then
line
it's got some history then. So I wanted, and you show a little bit more of this in the little documentary, and talk about collaborations, because collaborations have really been kind of a fundamental thing for you as an ensemble. How and it's really off the charts. So the people here know you from the performance you did with the 9HN Dance Company. You toured with David Parsons as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah.
The Tata Boys, the Czech rock band.
That was so fun. And
It sounds
you know,
like fun.
that sort of made us, that really took us outside of our classical box and then just brought us to a different stage and different experiences where we performed in front of 10,000 people, all screaming. They had never heard of Ahn Trio, but just because we were at this festival, I think Ostrava Festival, and just they were excited and we felt great. I was like, oh, this is what rock stars feel like. And we had so much fun, and Michael Nyman Band was playing at the same festival, and he's one of our favorite composers too. And so, yeah, we had a great time. And
But
then
I think
How do these collaborations come together?
There? Maybe?
yeah, David Byrne was there.
Yeah.
I think the reason that we started doing a lot of collaborations is because we didn't only want to perform with each other. And it makes it so fun to have, other artists
It's
perform.
nice sometimes have some cute boys with us on stage, right? So
It's
remember we
funny
did
though,
the
right?
thing with the Australian duo?
Yes, the
Great.
kin.
Yeah,
right?
the kin.
Yeah, they were very talented.
I do remember though, when we were younger, we used to fight more. So when we would have a collaborator, they might be a little bit nervous if we started fighting more.
Oh yeah.
But now we just all have a blast and we don't fight as much. And I think it works better.
We're more laid back now.
Well, also, do you remember when we watched this movie Planet B-Boy, and we were so inspired by the b-boying dancers
Yeah.
that we really wanted to do a collaboration with b-boying dancers, because we thought, why can't we perform with b-boying dancers? So
Right.
we did that. Remember we did that at Seoul Art Center, and I don't think they've ever had b-boying dancers on stage with the classical trio. But what amazed us was that they're not like modern dancers. They don't require any sort of, prop. They just dance on any floor. So
Well, because it comes from street dancing, right?
right. I guess they're just used to dancing on the street. And
they're used to dancing on concrete or dirt or whatever. So they
it was amazing.
But
Yeah.
Joel, the other thing that collaborating really gives us is sort of this creative inspiration, because we are, of course, all of us are really creative and we love performing, but when we add a dance company or singers or percussionist or whatever, it really adds to that creative energy that I think are kind of addicted to, all of us.
Well, also, just because we went to a very traditional conservatory like Juilliard, but there's so many incredibly talented artists, and it's only natural that we wanted to collaborate with other forms of than just classical musicians. And I feel like being in New York, you're surrounded by so much culture, and just the pool of talent, and the energy is just incredible. So I don't know, I feel like it was just something natural that we wanted to do.
And then we had a little bit of that sort of rebellious edge where we wanted to be like Satie or something, and just be, be called something other than a musician, just an artist. And we wanted to be avant-garde, and we wanted to be different. And so there was definitely some of that too, which were attracted to that.
Yeah. Are you, when collaborations are coming to you, is there a process that you go through, or are you just looking for something that feels to resonate with you? Is this sounds like fun? I
feel like the three of us each we would get excited about something and bring it to the trio, right? Lucia got really excited about the Tata Boys music, and then came to us and said, okay,
I heard them on a CD, and I thought they're kind of a rock band that would fit into our group, because they are trying to always do some funky things with what they're doing, and not a traditional pop rock band, but they wanted to make things different. So we wanted to be making chamber music with them, and they wanted to have instruments doing a lot of different aspect, adding different layer to their songs.
Basically, it was like role reversal, right? Because we were trying to be more rock and roll, and they were trying to be more chamber music. So that was really fun. And then Angella would get really excited about fiddle music and bring that element, and I would get really excited about a painter or a 3D media artist or a filmmaker. And so we would just sort of all each bring something and then say, oh, we have to do it. And then if we all agree, then we collaborate with them, right? That was pretty
Yeah,
much the
we
problem.
usually do. We usually agree, and we're so grateful that we bring these ideas to each other. Definitely.
That's
Yeah.
great. So let's actually share that we have a video of you with it was Ha Huing Dong. Is that right? How you say his name?
Yes, and the group of the group is called Visual Shock.
Okay,
Because they're so shocking.
that's great. So this is the B-Boys in Korea, and we're going to turn our videos back off and move on to the next next little video sample. Here we are. That was wonderful fun.
That's also a piece by Kenji Bunch. We have performed so many of his pieces.
I was going to bring Kenji up as well as a number of the other composers that you work with, because I know that you've had things brought to you, and that you're also reaching out to composers who you admire and commissioning things from them. Tell me about that process for you as well.
Oh, okay. I get there.
That was also really a natural thing that happened at Juilliard, because we're surrounded by very, very talented composers like Kenji Bunch. We met at Juilliard. We have been so lucky in our career to have just met so many wonderful composers and I think some of them approached us because they knew that we were really interested in performing a lot of the new music. And we really wanted to perform more and more living composers' music versus dead composers' music. And not that we don't love the dead composers.
But it's true, right? And I think we have to thank the composers that initially wrote so much music for us. People like Kenji Bunch, people like Eric Uwazin, who's a teacher at Juilliard, a composition, and
Michael Nyman, who was so generous, and
right.
he just faxed us music.
Yeah.
And also from Juilliard. I mean, we could go on, and and in the recent more years, we didn't have to even look for composers because we just had so many who we wanted to play. So, right? I mean, we were never lacking new music to choose
but
from.
I do admire all the groups where they write their own music. I think I secretly wished that I could write my own music,
right.
But getting the music written for us is kind of the next best thing. So
part of the reason that we have to seek out composers is because we're not talented in composing at all.
Yes, but, I mean, but you think about the great masters and people like Maurice Jarre approaching our manager and saying, I love what the girls are doing and I would love to write for them. I mean, that's very special, and we're forever grateful. And we'll be forever grateful to Maria for approaching Pat Metheny, who we believe has never written a classical trio until Maria asked him.
Yeah, I think since then he has. But yeah, I mean, we wouldn't have all this incredible music. And so, yeah, we definitely are very lucky though, right? With so many amazing composers writing music for us.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So a couple of things. I'm gonna say one thing to the audience at home. If you have questions, the majority of this audience is watching on YouTube Live. There is a chat function on YouTube Live. And if you would like to just write any questions that you would like brought to the Ahn Trio, please do that there, and that will come to me and I will pitch the questions to the ladies. And you mentioned Pat Metheny, and that actually is a terrific segue, because the next video that we have queued up is a video called Three Sisters, and this is performed to a composition by Pat, correct?
Yes.
Fantastic.
So the title of this piece is called Yuryang, which translates to ghost in Korean. And because he was writing a trio for us and knew we were Korean, he wanted to give it a Korean title.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of the most hauntingly beautiful pieces. We just immediately fell in love with it when Pat sent the music, and just been playing it nonstop ever since. And so it's on our Blue album, and we really wanted to make this music video. And then we were very lucky that Tippett Rice Art Center approached Angella about making a music video there.
And we can tell you more about that.
And music and art film. And so it's incredible. It was just, right? I mean, it was one of the most wonderful experiences, just being surrounded by art in beautiful Montana.
So Angela, did you want to mention something about the filming of the video first, or would you like to come back to that after we've seen it?
Let's talk about it after.
Okay. We'll put it to you when we come back, but we're going to show this video called Three Sisters with music by Pat Metheny, and then we'll talk a little bit about the video and production when we return. That's just beautiful. Angela, tell us a little bit about the filming of that. That was filmed up in your neck of the woods.
It was. So Tippett Rise Art Center is actually a 12,000 acre working sheep and cattle ranch. But the owners, Peter and Kathy Halstead, had this vision to turn it into also an art center. So it houses these enormously large outdoor sculptures by people like Calder and Doherty and Snake. I mean, incredibly, famous artists. And I got to know them through several projects that I did on my own. And they asked if the trio could come and film something at Tippett Rise. And for us, it was one of the most unique experiences because you're at this place that really celebrates sort of the linkage between art and music, architecture, nature, everything coming together. And
actually very fitting right now to the COVID time because it's, we started to think so much about health and nature and being in a place where you have more space. And it's not unlike Storm King Art Center, but just way, way larger in scale, for those of people who are not familiar with Tibet Rise.
Yeah, and it's the surrounding the art center are Beartooth Mountains. I mean, it's just spectacular, as you could see in the video.
Yeah, but what I enjoyed the most about being there was that you felt like that scenery has not changed since 1 million years ago. It just looks exact, like it's just the land and the mountains, and that's it. And you can imagine there's nothing else there, and that there are not many places like that. So I really felt spiritual and just so at peace with nature and myself.
Really. In fact, the director of that film, Matthew McKee, wanted that look to be as if you cannot tell what time period it is, because in the middle of the art and nature there, you really you cannot really see any buildings or anything that dates. So it was really an incredible experience to film there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful video, and like you said, the music is a perfect fit for the environment there. A question from one of our audience members. I mean, that was the Pat Metheny composition for you. Is there a wish list? Is there a dream collaboration that you have, or a composer who you would like to work with, or someone who you would like to perform with?
Well, my dream was to meet David Bowie in person, but that didn't happen.
But you have recorded a number of adaptations of his music.
Yes, so at least I did that, but I was hoping, when I made that, I was desperately wanting to meet him, so I would tell the audiences at concerts, hey, if you personally know David Bowie, please go tell him that Maria really wants to meet him.
Who I would love to meet is Jessie Montgomery. I would love for her to write something for us. I think she's just so phenomenal. Another person I would love to meet one day and have something maybe written for us is Ludovico Einaudi.
Oh, that's funny, because that's exactly what I wanted to say, is that I would love for him to write us something.
You guys are like twins.
I know.
We're more like twins.
Twins, but we think like twins.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. And you're setting us up, because the next video is Nouvelle Bianche, which is one of his compositions, right?
Right.
Yes.
And that actually
one of our favorite pieces.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful piece, and that was in when you look up that piece, actually it was in 3 different films already. Like one was a British TV series, and then the other was probably another British TV, and then a movie that was American and Canadian, and it's a supernatural horror movie. I don't know how that fits.
But his music is so visual.
Yes.
So it's very evocative.
But he has been writing a lot for many films, and he won many awards, including the Italian Oscars. And so he's a very famous composer. Yes.
It is wonderful. And actually, while we're at it, since we're talking about it, let's do one more video clip, and then we can reconnect in just a couple of moments here. So this is Nouvelle Bianche.
Nouvelle Bianche.
What's that?
Nouvelle Bianche.
You said that better than I did. That's fantastic. And this is a Ludovico Einaudi composition, and it is arranged by you, Lucia, correct?
Yes. Yes,
Fantastic.
I was very proud, even though it's very simple, but I was happy that I could do something like that.
That's great. And here's the video.
It
That's
was
just-
so fun. Remember like how Lucia was playing the driver and Angela was playing a nun and I was playing a gatekeeper?
This was so much fun, and every morning we had to wake up at 5 in order to get ready because we were, it's really just a no budget film, but but it was totally worthwhile, and we had our beautiful actress friend, model, also actress, Jamila.
No, we were so lucky that we could recruit her, Jamila Diaz, right? So we are so grateful. And again, the same director. It was directed by Alessio Giorgetti. So
where did you film this?
In Florence.
In Florence.
Italy, yeah. So that was not a bad place to be.
Wonderful. So I have a couple of questions for you. One is from our audience here, and that is, tell a little bit about your interest in dissolving the boundaries between art forms.
I think our interest is that we want to do that all the time, and it's happening not only in music but also in the chefs who are cooking, in the authors, in the filmmakers. And so it's, to us, it's such an important aspect of what we do, without a definition of you have to be in this form because we went to Juilliard and we are classical artists, but we love to just break all the rules and do
well,
what
the new generations, they don't even have the concept of having to have a box. I think they just do everything. So I think it's important to just always be open. And for us, I guess we were kind of rebellious for our time, but nobody would call us rebellious now, right?
Well, I think, adding to that, we have to all admit that we're kind of living in a very divisive time now. And even just being more diverse in the arts, more collaborative in the arts, I think that can translate to being more collaborative and more diverse in culture, in real life, in politics, in everything. So for us, it was always really kind of normal to be really inclusive, to be dissolving barriers, to be more open.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. So, and then this is kind of a business follow-up question is, you've made a couple of big changes. You were recording on EMI, then Sony. You now have your own production company. What does that mean for you when it comes to your artistic freedom and the way that you approach projects and your brand?
That means that we can be free to do whatever we want, and then actually own the music.
That's a song. I'm pretty sure that's a song.
And also,
back in the day, you would have to have a discussion with the person from the record company to discuss the repertoire, and we just realized, well, we want to just own our own music. And we want to be free. And this is the world. This is the time of YouTubers and no one wants to be tied down to a major label anymore, I don't think.
But it helped us a lot. It helped us so much in the beginning of our career to be EMI artists, to be Sony artists, because it made people come to our concerts. Oh, they must be pretty good because they're under EMI, or that actually is important too, because that's why people do competitions. You got to.
When you're starting out, you really need to. People will take you more seriously if you have a label, and so, we were really grateful and happy to be with major labels. Right? We were really excited.
And also we were very, we often got our way with the repertoire. Like we said, oh, we want to have titles, and they fought us a little bit, but then they let us title our albums when it used to be that you only called it piano trios, right? And not, like, for example, we did Groovebox and we did Unplugged, and we wanted to give titles. and you know, they gave in and let us do that. So
only opera singers used to be able to have a title for their albums.
right.
That's great. So we have one more quick video. It's a rehearsal clips. It's very brief, but a nice way to sort of see us out at the end here. A nice, very light end. And we'll see if there are any other questions from the at-home crowd. And but we'll do one more little thing. This is some rehearsal clips with the Ahn Trio, and we'll be back here in just one moment.
Yeah,
you have the score and you have the earphone. I mean, come on, this is so unfair.
You guys know I don't do this often. Because usually I just sit there.
Okay, now we're gonna get it though. Yeah, okay, follow me. Yeah, I got it. Okay, got it.
Thank you. Finally. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
It's nothing but fun. It's good to see you girls all on stage together.
Oh, you know, the reason we wanted to show this was because this was the very last public concert. It was March 2nd, 2020 at NYU. And we were rehearsing for that. And so, you know,
Can you tell us about Taehong a little bit, Ria? Because you met with him first.
Yeah, so this is another amazing composer that we've met, Taehong Park. He's sort of a computer music guru at NYU, and he uses music tech and sort of the resources of today, technology, and he uses that in his music. And so he wrote this piece for us, and that was the world premiere. And it's called Mask in Korean.
It was so ironic. The
Very
title
ironic.
is Gameon, and that means mask. And that was our last piece that we performed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. And it was a fun collaboration. So he plays electric bass, and there's the extra sounds from the computer, and then we are playing. And you know, it was actually very hard to get it together. That's why we're counting, and that's what all the giggling in the beginning of the footage was all about. So we were like, come on, let's get it together. So that was fun.
It is just great. Well, and it's a perfect segue to a message for the end of this. Is we'd love to have you back in Santa Fe, and be able to share the space. And you know, one of the things that you said at the end is there really is something about just being in a room with people that makes you walk a mile in their shoes, and it makes you so open to other cultures and other ideas, because there's no proselytizing. You're just there and you're absorbing. And we are very excited that our days of the pandemic are hopefully nearing an end, and that we can look forward to having public performances together and spending time in person with people like you. So I wanted to thank you again for sharing some time with us today. And in the case of Maria, who is in Italy, for staying up late. And we really do look forward to having you back in Santa Fe. And I wanted to thank you again for all of your time this afternoon as well.
Well, thank you for having us. It was so much fun. We really enjoyed talking with you. Yes.
That's great. Well, we'll get our calendars together and make that happen. And to the audience at home, one more time, thank you for your long support of the Lensic during the pandemic and for seeing us through to this other side. We are a community-supported organization, and we can't do the things that we do without you. And we are very excited that our time to see everyone in 3 dimensions is coming. I am grateful on days like this for Zoom and for all of these things that we do get to connect with people around the world. But
yes,
there is nothing better
than to be
yeah,
artists in this time, and everybody go support the arts, and yeah, in that beautiful hall. I remember it was gorgeous.
It's we are blessed. There is a real energy in these spaces, and it's potential energy at this point, and waiting for it to become kinetic.
Oh, we can't wait to go back.
Wonderful, wonderful. Sangrias and sopapillas are on me.
Great.
Fantastic. Well, folks at home, thank you again for joining us. Ahn, thank you for your time again today. And my best wishes to all of you. Stay healthy.